Good evening. I'm Dagan McDowell.
And I'm David Webb. Welcome to The Bottom Line.
Nobody likes being called ugly and disgusting. Not even a piece of legislation. The big, beautiful bill doesn't deserve that. The president's former brochacho coming out swinging against the disgusting pork stuffed into the big, beautiful bill and more.
I'll be honest, I think he misses the place. I think he got out there and all of a sudden he wasn't in this beautiful Oval Office. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly, and some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. They leave and they wake up in the morning and the glamour's gone. I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem.
And that's fake news, crying Elon says, as he claims he never read one word in the bill, writing on X, quote, "This bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it."
The jabs back and forth all day, and you best believe Democrats are at home looking like Nancy Pelosi, eating all of this up.
Republicans should listen to them, and actually to their former selves, outraged about the national debt. Because it's here, Donald Trump's big, ugly bill is in the Senate.
This divorce was predictable, if not inevitable, because it was always a marriage of convenience, and Musk is against elevating the debt, eliminating the incentives for electric vehicles. Substantively, they were never on the same page.
What we see right now is a Republican civil war.
No. And while he may be acting like an ungrateful little man, what he wants to do is what some Republicans on the Hill have been trying to do: keep the good, take out the bad. Elon Musk is right in thinking at its heart this bill is good, if not great. Hardworking Americans will be saved from a $4.5 trillion tax hike looming at the end of the year. But why spend, say, close to $400 billion on a state and local tax deduction for rich blue staters? A wrong, and a wrong never makes a right.
But a new bill our next guest has introduced could right those wrongs, giving lawmakers insight into any Treasury payment made over $25,000. As it happens, and in D.C., this is amazing, in real time.
Let's bring in Texas Congressman Chip Roy. Congressman, great to see you. I personally, I'm fine with putting this quarreling on mute, because the task at hand is us, the American people, crawling out of the sewage lagoon that the Democrats have spent at least 4 years filling. And it is a morass, a grotesque one at that, in terms of what they've gotten us into in this debt. Congressman, take it from here. You want to say anything about the tussle, verbal, online today, or what the Senate is working on in terms of maybe can they chop away even more of what you were trying to do in the House with the bill?
Well, Dagan, thanks for having me on, and thanks for what you were just saying. Frankly, if you would like to leave Fox Business and come down here and be one of our leaders here in the House, I'd appreciate it, because you're making a lot of sense. I couldn't agree more. I mean, look, this is the kind of palace intrigue and drama that the press loves to spin up, but this is just noise compared to what's happening to the average American who can't afford a home, who's dealing with inflation, who's dealing with interest rates that have gone up, all in the wreckage of a ridiculous Biden administration that obviously opened our borders and all the things you and I know and that we've talked about before. before. And look, I think you just said it very well. I'm not interested in all this crap. Elon crossed the line and what he said about the president. The president has been doing great things here. By the way, empowering Elon to be able to use Doge, to be able to identify a lot of the all of the waste, fraud, and abuse that we need to get rid of. But importantly, I think Elon is right that we need to do more. You're right to say that we shouldn't be plussing up these massive big blue state taxes by subsidizing them with $380 billion federal dollars. We shouldn't be transferring money from one state to another. And we shouldn't be allowing Medicaid to continue to be badly broken, where it is fueling blue states, scamming people and money laundering to give more money to the able-bodied than the vulnerable. You've talked about that. I've talked about that. Republicans should do more. We should be more aggressive. Elon is correct that we need to be doing more to meet the moment. But unfortunately, the way this is spilled out is ignoring a lot of the good work we've done. We do need to take the good things, add to them, get rid of some of the bad things. I hope the Senate will do that. And to answer your question, spent a lot of time with some good friends in the Senate last night, good friends like Mike Lee and Rick Scott and others. And, they're saying a lot of the right things. I think that the majority leader understands the need that we need to make the bill better. But I can tell you this, Dagan, if they backslide on what we did to get the Inflation Reduction Act where it needs to go so that we can terminate the Green New scam, I'll be out if it comes over to the House. If they backslide on Medicaid instead of making it better, I'll be out. We've got to do more work. We need more cuts, lower spending, lower deficits. The Senate needs to improve it, and hopefully they will.
And just a note to the viewers, the backsliding on the green scam subsidies, that would be for Tom Tillis, and the backsliding on the Medicaid right sizing of Medicaid that you did, that would be for Josh Hawley. So I'm naming names,
correct.
Not you.
No, and I'm with you on that. Congressman, the senators that are reticent, first of all, I'm with you. Throw out the 5% of the crazy, focus on the 95% of getting things done. And they can go deeper. Do you really believe they will, and stick it together so that we can get this through? You peel off 3 or 4, you get into bad territory.
The American people expect us to deliver. And right now we've got legislation in the big, beautiful bill that, in my opinion, would have to rely on far too high economic growth, which, by the way, I hope we get, and far too much revenue from the tariffs, which I hope keeps coming in. But it's going to rely too much on those things to get to balance. I think we need to be more fiscally responsible. But importantly, we need to fix the problems, right? Medicaid right now is a scam that hurts the vulnerable by enriching the able-bodied and blue states. Let's fix that, and let's own it. By the way, they're going to run ads on Medicaid anyway. So why don't we go to the American people and say, we've got a solution. We're going to phase out this scam. We're going to make sure the vulnerable are covered. Yes, you're going to have to work, but guess what? We're going to open up opportunities for health care. We're going to expand health savings accounts. We're going to rebuild the relationship between doctor and patient. Stop enriching insurance companies. Stop enriching hospitals. Let's go on offense. We know what the American people want. They want to afford their home again. They want interest rates down. They want to afford health care instead of having $35,000 a year in insurance expenditures, co-pays, deductibles, and ridiculous regulation. We can do that if we go on offense. Stop being afraid. Republicans are the afraid party. Be the confident party and go back on offense to take our country back.
And don't care what they call you.
Because the best that they've got, Congressman, is that Bernie Sanders says you can't reform Medicaid because recipients won't fill out the paperwork correctly.
Right.
That's all they got.
It's crazy.
And that's crazy. That's absolutely.
And look, and the Inflation Reduction Act is the other one, and you pointed it out, and Tillis is talking about it. We do not need to be subsidizing these massive wind farms and solar farms that make our grid less reliable. We did the right thing in the House. We pulled that back. Let's go further. Right. Stop subsidizing China. Stop subsidizing all of these ridiculous billion-dollar corporations, and let's rebuild our American grid with gas and nuclear.
If you got rid of all the green climate subsidies, ixnayed them, $400 billion you got right there.
$400 billion, yeah. Yeah, we got $600 billion in the House. We could get $400 billion more if the Senate does its job.
And that's a T, trillion, for Trump. Congressman Chip Roy, great to see you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dick. See you guys.